Howdy y'all, I'm Tim.
Ahoy, I'm Matt, and welcome back to another MrMaple video. Today we're going to be doing the 10 at 10 for April 26, 2022.
So we're going to talk about 10 of the 20 trees getting listed today on Tuesday. So make sure you sign up for our weekly email so you find out about the full 20 plants that are going to be getting listed at 10 a.m. Again, you'll get an email out typically about 9 a.m. whenever you sign up for those weekly emails. Then you can look through and see the full 20 items. And those 20 items will go live on MrMaple.com at 10 a.m.
You probably know, if you're watching this video, you're probably a big MrMaple fan and you've seen our emails already, but we add at least 10 new plants every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. So for you new folks, we're getting a lot of new subscribers. Every single Tuesday at 10 a.m., there's at least 10 new plants coming to MrMaple.com. These are just 10 of them. This spring we're so busy, we're actually listing 20 at a time like Tim said. So we hope you're excited for this one. We've got some great plants. Some home run hitters are back. Some things people have been waiting for a very long time, some even since the old website. So there's some good stuff on here today. We're going to start out with a conifer. Today we've got CEDRUS, ATLANTICA, GLAUCA, PENDULA. Now, this is a classic weeping CEDRUS that you're going to love. I once mentioned to some of our guys that I saw, you know, a 40-year-old one of these sell for like 40 grand. And I think they were all like, hey, we're going to plant one right now and wait. Like all the young guys were like, get it in the ground and wait. 40 years from now, we're cashing in.
Yeah, they make such a nice weeping shape and give you some nice blue color for a blue Atlas cedar with a nice weeping habit. Make a great complementary plant to Japanese maples. They give you that blue color that a lot of Japanese maples can't, no matter what some people on the internet might say. And this is a plant that's really going to have that nice weeping habit, that cascading umbrella habit. And you want to make sure you give the CEDRUS Atlanticas plenty of good drainage. And there's just such a fun plant to have out in the landscape. They just add such a unique feel with that color and a unique style and texture, especially as they get larger with that weeping habit.
Yeah, an awesome plant. We did a how to stake a Japanese maple video, so you can see this one kind of already has a little bit of a serpentine going to it, but you can stake it straight up. This is a fun plant that, as it matures, really just has that regal appearance to it there in the landscape. And it's just one of those plants that's unmatched. You know, people love to put this one in for structure and then kind of build around it. It's a great starting point for a garden because you can kind of build an entire garden around this one's presence. Yeah,
and next we have an amazing plant. This is often considered to be one of the best ghosts from the Ghost series. I believe Talon's actually said that a time or two before. And this has such amber hues in the spring and with that reticulated variegation, one of the original members of the Ghost series. And it's just one of those plants that I love for that reticulated, that etching variegation throughout the veins.
Yeah, I would say after Purple Ghost, this may be the most popular variety of that Ghost series for us. Amber is always highly sought after. Just some amazing shades. If you can give this one early morning sun, late day shade, it will just glow in your garden. I've got one right now in early morning sun, and we'll have to get out there and do a whole video on it. It is glowing right now. But just an awesome tree from that Ghost series of Japanese maples. If you don't have an Amber Ghost, definitely take this opportunity to add one to your collection. It is a can't miss plant. I think it's one of those, you know, it's a classic Japanese maple that I wish we always had in stock.
The thing that's most underrated for this plant is its fall color. I mean, it has a bright orange-red fall color that it's just unreal.
Yeah.
And really adds another dimension of not just spring and variegated interest, but some amazing fall color in there as well.
For sure, for sure. So next up on our table, we've got another very popular plant. These probably won't last very long into the day. They actually leaf out a little greener and then they'll get more to that picked up yellow. This is ACER Oliverianum Hot Blonde. So this is one we named here at our nursery. It's part of our Heat Seeker series of ACER Oliverianum X's. Really the first one of that series. You know, I jokingly named this one after my wife, Hot Blonde, but an amazing fast growing plant. This is going to be an ACER Oliverianum, so actually a Chinese maple, but for all intents and purposes, it's going to look just like a Japanese maple. Now, this is going to have a really accelerated growth rate. A lot of people are so shocked by this because this one will chase down or exceed Ceru. It's one of the fastest growing trees we do and exceptionally heat tolerant.
Now, when it first leaves out, it actually has a little bit of an orange border around the edge, and it has a little more of that olive color Matt talked about. That's where the name ACER Oliverianum comes from with the olive maple. But the neat thing about this is it just gets more and more intense as that summer goes on. And so during the summer, the yellows are just unreal. And this is one of the most heat tolerant varieties that we do. We've got some customers down in Bishopville, South Carolina, and Charleston, close near the Battery, with this in full sun and it just grows like a weed and gives them some amazing yellow colors.
Yeah, this is going to hold that yellow through the summer very well. It's a great plant for high heat exposures. It's a great plant for if you want a larger plant. It's going to shade out some smaller Japanese maples as well. It's one that's going to fill out quickly. And I think it's one of our best introductions we'll ever do here. I'm a big fan.
I mentioned Amber Ghost was underrated for fall color. Hot Blonde, the fall color's unreal. In the cold frames here, the fall color can last for almost a month.
Yeah, it's exceptional.
On established plants, it just amazing. It's one of the best fall colors.
Interestingly enough, it's a little later to leaf out too, which is a good late threat for frost quality.
Yep.
So it's a little later on that leaf out. It holds that fall color a little later into the winter as well. Just really fun for that all around.
And it is an Acer Oliverianum variety Oliverianum. So next up we've got Acer Palmatum Dark Night.
Yeah, Dark Night, another classic here. This one's one of the new ghosts. You saw our video maybe on new ghost. Weeds are always free at MrMaple if you see me weeding these. But Dark Night is an amazingly dark selection. This is going to be in that purple ghost kind of category of that dark metallic-y purple. One of the darkest though of all.
Yeah, and I love how this one just has those dark etching veins with that purple, red, lavender color in there. It gives it that really neat feel. And being a comic book fan, how can you not have a Dark Knight in your garden?
Right, I mean, that's the Batman moniker there, the Dark Knight. So being comic book geeks, we got to have that one in our superhero garden. We have a Shazam. We got a Golden Pharaoh. If you're really geeky, you know who that is. That might be a really deep dive. There's a Daredevil hydrangea I need. There's a few different comic book ones we got to have. So we have like the classic rock collection, but then as comic book geeks, we have like the comic book name collection as well. So Dark Knight fits in that category well. Just a lovely plant though. Almost gets a little bit of a glossy sheen over the leaf, but one of the darkest versions of a purple ghost selection style you can think of, and just really regal overall appearance to it. So this one's one I think you're definitely going to love. We haven't offered this one since the new website's been up, I don't think.
Now, we did a reintroduction program with the National Arboretum, and Yayoi GASA is one of those plants that really hasn't made it out in the nursery trade as much as it should. It was a selection that was listed, according to the National Arboretum, as being collected on the coast of Japan by Dr. Creech. Now, whether or not he collected it as the cultivar or collected it as a seed and then named it as a cultivar, we don't know. But it is definitely a very large leaf Sieboldianum. It has the pubescence of Sieboldianum. Everything about the leaves screams Sieboldianum, but it's the largest leaf form I think we've ever seen on a Sieboldianum.
It gets me really excited. This one's going to have that Japonicum style leaf, but on an Acer Sieboldianum. Just a really fun plant. Almost dinner plate size foliage as this matures. If you give it some late day shade, you can even get larger foliage on this one. Almost has a tropical look to it because that foliage is so big. Exceptional fall colors. You get the cold tolerance of Acer Sieboldianum. I think it's probably my favorite Acer Sieboldianum. It's one of the most unique varieties of Acer Sieboldianum for sure. And one we're proud to kind of get back out into the trade here. I think it might not even ever got to the trade to begin with. But
one of the cool things that I thought was pretty awesome is we were looking through J.D. Veritree's Black Book, which we'll do a deep dive at some point on.
We actually have a lot of his original notes and a lot of his original paperwork from when he was writing the book was gifted to us.
Yeah, and when I opened his book, he had also went and got Yayoi GASA from the National Arboretum. So seeing us chase Veritrees and take some of the similar steps was kind of shocking to see that he had also got this plant from the National Arboretum and thought it was pretty significant.
I don't think this one will be around long after the 10 at 10. It's going to be very popular, so don't wait on this one. Aaron Dragseth got one from us several years ago, maybe on a one-of-one sale, so I think it's gotten some views from his post on it. It's going to be popular. Definitely unique in that it is Acer Japonicum style foliage on a true Acer Sieboldianum cultivar. Siebold, really cool guy. Maybe we'll do a whole thing about him one time. Really unique character. Sailed around Asia collecting, Sieboldianums is where it came from, but he was an optometrist who would work on eyes, and in his meantime, he would steal plants. So he would sneak plants back onto his boat. Optometrist by day, plant thief by night. I think Core said he brought the original Arium and threw it onto their bank there, but just a really interesting guy. Maybe we'll do a whole story time on Siebold and how Acer Sieboldianum came about. It's actually a funny tale of maybe a Japanese maple pirate and optometrist.
So next up, we've got a really cool plant, and this is an introduction by our good friend Bart and Marielle Ackerman. It's named after Marielle, the secretary of the Maple Society. And It's part of the Area 51 collection here at MrMaple. This is one of our favorite green lace leaves that really has some really nice purple tipping in the early springs.
Yeah, we love this one for its purple border. It's got an excellent purple border to it. They do get a little washed out here in the greenhouse, but in the ground, this one held the purple border the longest for me of any of the bordered type green lace leaves. Exceptionally lavender purple border to this one. It actually outperforms Spring Delight every time I've compared the two. So we've actually been offering this one more. Nice low cascading umbrella, but what really sparks this one is that bright purple border. It's almost a Tatsumagaki meets Waterfall kind of comparison there. Bart shared Signwood with us, and so we were one of the first ones to get to offer this. And just an excellent plant. I think it's one you definitely don't want to wait on either. Those are going to be very popular.
This is one I know you love, Matt.
Yeah, so next up on the table, we've got WESTONBIRT Red. Now don't get confused. This is one that leaves out green, but has exceptional red fall color. I got to go to WESTONBIRT Arboretum a few years ago. I guess that's probably been around 2011 now, with one of our mentors, Peter Gregory and Hugh Angus. And just an amazing trip. We'll definitely be doing a deep dive sometime about that trip. I was walking around WESTONBIRT with Peter Gregory, just admiring this amazing fall color. WESTONBIRT Red was one of its peak fall colors. One of my favorite memories from that trip was people had the pocket guide, and I had Peter Gregory's picture on the back of the pocket guide. And so I'm walking around with Peter Gregory, who was the curator there at WESTONBIRT for so many years. And people were looking at the pocket guide to Japanese maples. If you don't know Peter Gregory's name, you should if you're watching this channel, but he did the 3rd and 4th editions of Japanese maples and also the pocket guide. So people are walking around with the pocket guide and they're looking at the back of it and then looking at Peter Gregory like the whole time I'm walking around with him. Never felt cooler. So people are coming up and getting his autograph on the back of the book while we're walking around. But one that struck my fancy completely in that garden was that WESTONBIRT Red. I'm
totally jealous. I've only seen the pictures. I was in college at the time and I couldn't make the trip to Europe, but just seeing the fall color photos, I've always been enthralled by this plant and thought that this plant was amazing. And that's one of those trips that's on my bucket list is to get back out there, visit WESTONBIRT. I hate Peter's passed now, but we can go visit Hugh and some of our other friends for sure.
It holds a special place in my heart just because the memories of that trip. You know, it's an upright green that's going to have Osakazuki-like fall red. It's an amazing fall red color. You definitely should have WESTONBIRT in your garden, if nothing else, for the historical preference, you know, of what WESTONBIRT Arboretum means. So WESTONBIRT Red is one I definitely wouldn't wait on.
And this is one that Esfeld Nursery actually worked with WESTONBIRT Arboretum in naming and introducing and getting it out there in the nursery trade. And it's one that I think is just pretty awesome.
For sure, for sure.
Next up, we've got PICEA ABIES Gold Drift. And this is one we love. It's just a weeping yellow Norway spruce that really gives you some fun shapes and some really good yellow color. You know how I love the yellows, and this gives you an evergreen with that yellow habit. But you want to give it some sunlight to really peak those colors. In the deep south, give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun because you may get some burn in the super high heat.
Yeah, the more yellow you're getting on this one though, the more that yellow get picked up on the tree, the more sun you're getting. It really sparks that color. I love it this time of the year when they just kind of have these little soft tassels of yellow on top of it too. Really fun evergreen, makes a great accompaniment to a red Japanese maple, especially a weeping form. This one you want to stake up a little bit and then just let it do its pendulous thing down. That's the way I prefer to grow this one. But, you know, you've probably saw us do videos on this one before. I think we've even covered it before. But a classic conifer and one we'll always try to be offered here on MrMaple.
Yeah, I think I fell in love with this when we went to the Oregon Gardens Resort. And we saw plenty of them staked up. We saw them at Larry Stanley's.
Oh, yeah.
Planted in a trifecta where he had 3 of them growing side by side by side.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Kritikos over here locally has a gorgeous one in his garden of Japanese maples. It's just such a great accompaniment with an evergreen with that weeping habit that just sort of flows downward, but with some good yellow color.
Awesome plant. So now next up on the table, we have a classic for that stringier foliage. We've got ACER palmatum Kota no Ito. So as you can tell, this one has that more harp string, that more stringy style foliage. This is a chartreuse green in the early spring, and the best way to describe this in the fall is almost a highlighter yellow. This one really glows in the fall. We've got a beautiful specimen of this in our Maplewood Knoll Gardens there in front of our parents' house, and it is just, people talk about that plant all year long. People come and see that one and they're like, wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, Japanese harp strings or harp strings is what this translates as, and just it looks just like that. Such a great, elegant name for a plant that just flows in the wind. And I love seeing a large one of these just with a slight breeze.
Yeah.
It just adds so much out there in the landscape. Gives a good texture. In the deep south, you may have to give this a little protection from the hot afternoon sun. Here in western North Carolina, we grow it in full sun. It does fine for us here. But this is one of the plants that I really like just for unique texture.
Yeah.
And really stands out, gives an open, airy feel to a nice mid-sized Japanese maple.
It's a super elegant looking plant. I mean, it's got that linear lobulum style foliage, so each of the leaves have that really stringy appearance to them. You know, it's almost a green upright lace leaf in its way it's grown. That's a great way to think of it as a way you can use it in the garden. But it's going to have that strap leaf style foliage that just really gives you a very, very elegant and almost like bamboo-like feel in the garden. I mean, it's a very Asian garden style approach to it. It gives it a really unique texture there in the garden, and it really stands out amongst other Japanese maples.
Now, you may see some of the new growth when they first leaf out are a little bit wider, especially with the secondary flush during the summer. That's natural with Koto no Ito. Often those leaves will go back to being super thin the following year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Now, I will say,
something
we produce these by grafting to ACER palmatum, subspecies palmatum. This may be too geeky for you, but if you graft these to Emoenums, which I think is a mistake, some nurseries do that, you will keep larger foliage. By grafting them to the right understock, you'll have very small foliage, and the foliage that's larger will just be conditional of new growth.
So next up, this is one I think everyone's going to freak out about.
Yeah.
They're not going to last very long. It's a new introduction by Crispin Silva.
Yeah.
Called
Some guy
MIKAWA.
named Mystic MIKAWA.
Yep.
And so many great plants.
So this one is called MIKAWA KAEN, which translates, I believe, as MIKAWA Gold.
Yeah, this is a beauty. You get these out in the landscape. I think with all the MIKAWA types too, the more you can get them in the ground and in early morning sun, the better colors you'll get. My first year with Mystic, I was like, we got it really early on from Crispin, and it was kind of green in the nursery, but then I got one into the landscape and it was like, holy cow, this thing is insane. I think you're going to enjoy this. Crispin doesn't really make bad introductions. He's got some classic home run hitters. He's one of my favorite maple introducers after Talon Buckholz. I celebrate his entire collection.
And this one leaves out as a nice bronze color, that golden color. And then with some sunlight, the new growth during the summer is a golden bronze again. It really gives you something different from MIKAWA type.
Yeah.
I would say it's a competitor to our koi that we have introduced and sell from time to time. But this is a really cool MIKAWA type that is really special, really different. And I think this is one of the first times this one's really been listed and offered a lot online.
Yeah. This is going to be a popular one as well. I get questions all the time from y'all about when more MIKAWA family. I guess we kind of created that term, the MIKAWA family. What we've been doing is calling all the variations of MIKAWA Yatsubusa and that MIKAWA family, just to kind of categorize them together, make it like a series, like the Go series, but put a little bit more formality on it. So we've just been calling the MIKAWA family collection. And what those are offspring typically of MIKAWA with unique traits. So,
and we would expect this to be a very similar size, somewhere between Mystic and a MIKAWA Yatsubusa on its size. But this is so new, we really don't know the ultimate, 15, 20 year size. But we can get pretty good
dwarf and compact.
Yeah, we have some pretty good predictions because this here is a 2-year graft. So this tree's actually been in a 1 gallon for 2 years after it's been grafted. And so you see, it is a very slow grower. So it's definitely gonna have that dwarfer habit. But if it's going to be 3 feet or 5 feet, that's really to be determined.
Yeah.
So you can be part of that evaluation process with us.
And from what I'm told, this is going to make a great accompaniment to Mystic MIKAWA. So if you already have a Mystic, this is going to be a fun plant to pair with that for sure.
Now, we've got a really cool assortment of these 10 trees that we're listing on Tuesday. Don't wait. If you add them to cart, that doesn't save them. It only saves them once you check out. So make sure you're quick on the draw and check out quickly. We've had a lot of people recently saying, hey, I had it in my cart and then it sold out. I'm sorry, there's a lot of other people who are doing the same thing, but they're checking out a little quicker.
Yeah.
It's got to be a little quicker on the draw and get it checked out as quickly as you can. We try to list large sets of these.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people on our mailing
inevitably I'll
list.
have somebody mad at me over MIKAWA KAEN or YAYOI GASA because they'll say, hey, I really like this plant and I checked it on Wednesday, maybe even Tuesday, maybe even later in the day. And it was already sold out. We don't make it any secrets, folks. We add our plants at Tuesdays at 10. So
a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Be ready then. That's the best time to find the new plants on MrMaple. That's when some of the most cutting edge stuff's coming down and getting listed. So we definitely appreciate you.
Some of these might last 5-10 minutes. And we have a large quantity of them. There's just a lot of people out there who are willing to jump on these things very quickly.
There were a lot of people when we listed Mystic that were like, oh my goodness, I was ready for Mystic. It sold out in like 7-8 minutes. We actually had over 75 of them on there. So we're working to increase those numbers constantly. And we're always working to make the cool stuff available. Here at our nursery, Tim and I and Brian are always collectors at heart first. So we know how hard it is to find some of the cool stuff. And when we introduce something cool, or we're some of the first ones to offer something cool, we want to make sure to get it out there to you. So 10 a.m. is when we list these. Don't hesitate then, and be ready at 10 a.m. A couple of the really interesting ones won't last long after that, but we greatly appreciate you watching. We hope this gave you an informed look at our 10 at 10 coming up this week. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying these. We really get excited about making these videos.
And I know this is a video that you'll be watching right now. Pay attention to our emails, pay attention to our MrMaple page. We're going to be having a MrMaple festival here on Memorial Day, so you'll want to be a part of that if you can make it, get in. You might want to. It's going to be on Monday, Memorial Day itself. So book your hotels for that Sunday night so you can come to the MrMaple festival.
This will be the first time we've actually been open in person in close to 3 years, so we're really excited to do that.
Huge event, allows you to come in and get a lot of plants and put your hands on a lot of plants that haven't been listed yet on future 10 at 10s.
For sure.
And it gives you an inside look at what's going on here at MrMaple. You can go around and purchase plants, walk through the greenhouses. It's a fun, exciting opportunity, and we love having everybody here because it's so exciting to have so much enthusiasm for maples here at once. I think people hang around and talk, and they're like, hey, you're off of Facebook. Hey, you're off of Facebook, because it's kind of a cool event.
Yeah.
And also, we're doing a giveaway right now.
Yeah, we're doing a $100 gift card giveaway. We are fastly approaching 10K subscribers here on the MrMaple Show on YouTube. We really appreciate all of you subscribing. So to be entered to win that, you have to like, subscribe, share a video of ours. So we'll check to see if you're actually subscribed before we pick a giveaway winner. That's one of the things we do. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed, and then every single video is a chance to win. You can comment MrMaple gift card in the comment section below every single video. We'll randomize a video, then we'll randomize a winner on that video. And we've been picking winners. We've already been giving away hats and t-shirts and things like that.
And shortly after we get to 10K subscribers is when we'll be doing the drawing.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate y'all so much. Like Matt said, we've given away hats, we've given away t-shirts, and this time a $100 gift card. And if you're watching this 10 at 10 video, I bet you could use a $100 gift card.
All right, you're already a fan, so we greatly appreciate it. Now, you do have to be in the continental U.S. to win the gift card, so we should throw that out there as well. But we hope you're enjoying these videos, and we love providing this 10 at 10 content for you. We're going to continue to premiere these 10 at 10s at 9 a.m. Our regular videos are launching every single morning at 6 a.m. Eastern, so you can check those out anytime. They're still appearing every single day. We enjoy the live chat on the Tuesday listing, so we'll jump in there and say hello. So those are always premiering at 9 a.m. And that just kind of gives you that 1 hour head start on what's coming at 10.
And one thing to say more about the giveaway, you can comment on even older videos. Last time we had only one person comment MrMaple podcast on one of the older videos.
And that video got picked.
And that video got picked. So Brandon won simply because...
Easy win.
Easy win because he'd commented on the older videos. So you can go through and comment on even the older videos as a chance to win. And they're just as likely to win as the new videos. So make sure you're going around commenting and watching all of our previous videos. Yeah, make sure to
participate. We're closing on 10K fast. I don't think it's going to last very long this spring. We'll be doing more giveaways for sure. And we may give away specific plants or do some even more fun. We've got all kinds of ideas coming up for you as we get fired up about doing more maple content and just more stuff for the MrMaple Show. So we hope you're enjoying this. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.